Hi, NA Physics. It's Convex Spherical Mirrors number 2. It's Mr. Neff again. Hey, we're going to continue our conversation and give the punchline to that joke. What kind of tea did the American colonists want? Talk about that at the end of the video. So I found this really nice simulator from our friends at Pearson Prentice Hall, who are the publishers of some of the books that we use in our classes at NA. And it lets you do a simulated image, simulated ray diagram of convex and concave mirrors. Well, I want a convex mirror for this time. And so you see when I had it on concave that this front side of the mirror was silvered. And now the convex, it's the outside of the mirror that's silvered. Now this is the object that we're getting an image of. And I'm going to shut off some of these rays just so they don't become confusing. And here's our object, right? Now, what I can do is I can take this object and I can make it just a little bit bigger. And now I can take that object and I can move it around, and so you can see the image that I'm getting. And this is a lot like that last ray diagram that I drew. Now what I can do is I can take this image and this object, and I can move it farther and farther back. And so look what the image is doing. The image keeps getting smaller and smaller, and it gets closer and closer to that focal point. Now, the simulator is well done, but it only lets me get to this 7 centimeters away from the mirror. So what I could do is I could take it and I could move it up here, and I can make the mirror more curvy. And notice something too here, please. When the center of curvature is as far away as possible, the mirror is somewhat curved. But if I move the center of curvature up closer, now the mirror gets really curved because the radius and the diameter and the focal length and all that stuff gets really short. And so that's as close as I can bring the center of curvature up to the mirror. And it's as curvy as I can make the mirror. Now if I take this, now in essence, I can get this many more focal lengths away from the mirror than I used to be able to. Same distance, but since the focal lengths are smaller, this is many more focal lengths. And so look at what's happening here. You see where the image is going. There's a little baby image right there, and that little baby image is getting real close to the focal point. Now, why do I bring that up? I bring it up because on our example problem, it says when an object is located very far from a convex mirror, that is many focal lengths away, the image of the object is 18 centimeters behind the mirror. Now that's our way of telling us in so many words that the focal length is 18 centimeters, but not just 18 centimeters, negative 18 centimeters. Remember from our plane mirror talk, anything on the front of the mirror is going to be positive, and anything on the back of the mirror is going to be negative. Try that again. Positive on this side, negative on this side. And so our focal length, if I wanted to show it to you, it goes from that vertex over to the focal length. They told us specifically that this is 18 centimeters, and we're going to infer that it's negative 18 because it's behind the mirror. Okay, and you're always going to see that. With a convex mirror, you're always going to see that the focal length is a negative something, negative 18 in this case. Now it says, using a ray diagram drawn to scale, determine where the image is located when the object is placed 9 centimeters in front of the mirror. Note the mirror must be drawn to scale. When you're drawing, assume that the height of the object is 3 centimeters. So I'm going to, if that distance right there is 18 centimeters, negative 18, then this is not 9. This is way more than 9. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this, I'm going to move this to a place where it looks pretty much like 9. I'm going to assume that is it. Now, that 9 centimeters in front of the mirror is where the object is. We call that the DO. We're going to say that that's positive because it's on the front side of the mirror, 9 centimeters. If I want to show you a picture of that, here it is right here, 9 centimeters. Now, one thing, I'm supposed to make the height of the object 3 centimeters, but if I do that, it gets so tiny. I'd have to make it teeny tiny like this. So strictly speaking, this is what I should be drawing, but look how that doesn't look very good. So I'm going to back that off and just leave it tall like this, just so that the picture ends up coming out pretty nice. Okay, so now I'm going to use my straight edge, and I'm going to draw in those 3 rays that I did last time. First ray I'm going to draw is the parallel ray. It's the one that goes parallel to the principal axis from the candle flame. And so here I am drawing a ray that leaves parallel to the candle flame like that. Okay, and now it strikes the mirror and it reflects off, and it reflects off as if it had come from the focal point. So right now I'm using my straight edge, I'm lining up the focal point, I'm lining up the place where the parallel ray hit the mirror, and I'm drawing out that way. Okay, something like this. I've done these before, and this isn't even the first one of these that you've seen, and so it's okay to put those dotted lines going backwards like that. It helps you see what I lined up. It's actually going to help us locate the image too. So there's our parallel ray. And now for our focal ray, I'm going to do sort of the opposite of that. This time I'm lining up the candle flame and the focal point right there, and I'm drawing along this line. Now this time I'm not going to take that back because that wouldn't be super useful to me. Just know that if I kept that drawing that, I'd hit the focal point. That's going to reflect as if it is completely parallel. So it's going to be something like this. Okay, parallel to the principal axis, like that. And then it's going to reflect right along the line from which it came. There it is, 0 angle of incidence, 0 angle of reflection. So now, look at these 3 outgoing rays, the 3 that I drew the arrowheads on. They're never going to cross. You're standing out here, you're looking at this happen, and you're saying, oh, those are never going to cross. But they seem like they all came from which point? Well, they all seem like they came from this point right here. And so that is where that candle flame is. And so I'm going to put that candle flame in there, and I'll draw the rest of the candle down to the principal axis, draw that little dish it's sitting on, and there's our image. Now, it says that we're supposed to use this ray diagram drawn to scale to determine where the image is located. Well, what's a good guess on this? That's 9. Here's 9. Here's 18. What's that little bit right there? I'll tell you what we call it. We call that DI, distance to the image, and it's going to be negative something. Well, I don't know, maybe halfway. Looks like it's right there, a little bit closer than halfway. Negative 7, negative 6. I'm not sure. Let me say negative 7. I'm not going to put 0.0 on that because you can see I'm not very, very sure about this. Now, if I had some graph paper, and maybe I wasn't doing this on the computer, but I was doing this with a pencil, and I was really, really careful with it, I could actually make a measurement. That's the way that these authors intended us to do this problem. We're more or less using it to make a very good educated guess. The other thing I'm going to say here is this height right here, we're going to call that height of object. They told us that that was 3 centimeters. Technically positive 3 centimeters, because if you remember from our plane mirror talk, above the principal axis was the positive side, below the principal axis was the negative side. So we'll call that positive 3 centimeters for the height of the object. And so then the height of the image, we put that over here, height of the image would be this thing right here, HI. How big? I don't know, maybe 2? This was supposed to be 3. Maybe this height of the image is positive 2 centimeters, something like that. And for this sort of crude sketch, that's the best I can do. But I'll bet you those answers, they're probably not right on the money, but they're probably fairly close. Now, this probably turns you off just a touch. This probably makes you say, you know what, I don't like this idea of scale drawings. I know there must be math going along here with this. Can't we just do an equation? Well, the answer is yes. And I will cover that mathematical approach to this in the mirror equation video. So stay tuned for that one. Hey, before we go, what kind of tea did the American colonists want? They wanted liberty.